August 15, 1945. Tokyo. Noon. Across Japan, millions of people gather around radios. Factories fall silent. Schools stop. Soldiers stand perfectly still. For the very first time in history, the voice of Japan's emperor is about to be heard by ordinary citizens. His words are calm, but their meaning will shake an entire nation. The war has not necessarily gone to Japan's advantage. No cheers, no victory, only silence. Because every Japanese listener understands, their empire has fallen. An empire that had conquered Korea, invaded China, terrified the Pacific, and challenged the greatest powers on earth, has surrendered. But how did one of history's most disciplined and feared military empires collapse in just a few years? Was it America? Was it the atomic bombs? Or did Imperial Japan destroy itself long before the final surrender? Tonight, we uncover the incredible rise, the unstoppable expansion, and the shocking collapse of Imperial Japan. Every empire has a moment when it believes nothing can stop it. For Japan, that moment began decades earlier. In the middle of the 19th century, Japan was isolated from the world. Ancient traditions ruled daily life. Samurai still carried swords. The emperor held symbolic power, and for centuries, foreign influence was kept outside Japan's shores. But then, everything changed. In 1853, American warships appeared off Japan's coast. Their commander, Commodore Matthew Perry, delivered a simple message: open your country, or face the consequences. Japan's leaders realized something terrifying. If they refused to modernize, they would become the next colony of the Western powers. So instead of resisting, Japan made a decision that would transform the nation forever. The year was 1868. Kyoto, Japan. An emperor, barely 16 years old, walked toward the throne. His name was Emperor Meiji. Few could have imagined that this young ruler would completely transform Japan. The old samurai era was coming to an end. The government made a shocking decision. The swords that had symbolized honor for centuries would no longer rule Japan. Instead, the nation would embrace modern science, modern factories, modern weapons, and modern armies. Japan wasn't copying the West. It was preparing to compete with it. The transformation was breathtaking. Railways spread across the country. Modern schools opened. Steel factories roared to life. Western technology was adopted at incredible speed. Within a few decades, Japan had achieved what many nations needed centuries to accomplish. The world could hardly believe it. A small island nation, once isolated from the outside world, had become Asia's fastest-growing military power. But modernization created something else: confidence. And confidence soon turned into ambition. Japan no longer wanted to survive. It wanted to rule. In 1894, Japan made its move. It challenged the mighty Qing Empire of China. Many believed China would crush Japan. After all, China had ruled East Asia for centuries. But history had other plans. In less than a year, Japan shocked the world. Its modern army destroyed China's outdated forces. Victory came quickly, and with it, something even more dangerous. Japan realized it could defeat the great powers of Asia. This victory didn't satisfy the empire. It only made it hungrier. The age of expansion had begun. February 1904. The freezing waters of Port Arthur were completely silent. Russian commanders believed Japan would never dare attack. After all, Russia was one of the world's greatest empires. Its army was enormous. Its navy, among the strongest on Earth. Then, without any declaration of war, Japanese warships emerged from the darkness. Within hours, the impossible had happened. The mighty Russian fleet was burning. The world could hardly believe it. For the first time in modern history, an Asian nation had challenged a European superpower, and it was winning. When the war finally ended, the impossible had become reality. Japan defeated Russia. Across Asia, millions celebrated. For centuries, European empires had conquered Asian nations. Now, an Asian nation had defeated Europe. Japan was no longer a rising power. It had become a global power. The victory changed everything. Confidence turned into pride. Pride turned into arrogance. And arrogance would eventually become the empire's greatest weakness. Soon after, Japan tightened its control over Korea. By 1910, Korea had been fully annexed. Then, Japan looked west, toward China, a land rich in resources and opportunity. Japanese generals believed their empire was destined to lead Asia. But with every new conquest, the empire gained more land, more enemies, and more confidence than it could control. Without realizing it, Japan was building an empire that could only survive by endless war. And history has shown no empire can fight forever. September 18, 1931. Manchuria, China. A small explosion shook a railway track. It caused almost no damage. But to Japan, it was exactly what it needed. Japanese military leaders blamed China for the attack. Within hours, Imperial troops crossed the border. Cities fell one after another. The operation was so swift that the world barely had time to react. Soon, Japan controlled all of Manchuria, a vast land, rich in coal, iron, and endless natural resources. Officially, it was called liberation. In reality, it was the beginning of a much larger conquest. The League of Nations condemned Japan. It demanded an immediate withdrawal. Japan's answer shocked the world. Instead of leaving Manchuria, it walked away from the League itself. For the first time, Japan openly declared it would follow its own path. International opinion no longer mattered. Only expansion mattered. The empire had become convinced that no one could stop it. Then, in 1937, war returned. This time, on a much larger scale. Japanese forces launched a full-scale invasion of China. Major cities collapsed. The fighting spread across the country. What Japanese leaders expected to be a quick victory turned into a brutal war that dragged on for years. The empire kept expanding, but every new battlefield consumed more soldiers, more money, and more resources. Without realizing it, Japan was slowly entering a conflict too large for any empire to survive. As Japan expanded, another giant began watching closely. Across the Pacific Ocean, the United States, America saw Japan's growing empire as a direct threat. Economic sanctions followed. Oil exports were restricted. Steel shipments stopped. Japan faced an impossible choice: retreat and abandon its dream of empire, or strike first. The generals made their decision. One attack would change history forever. Its name would become unforgettable. Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, 7:48 a.m. Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The morning was calm. American sailors were eating breakfast. Battleships rested peacefully in the harbor. No one expected an attack. Then, the sky began to roar. Hundreds of Japanese aircraft appeared without warning. Within seconds, bombs started falling. Torpedoes ripped through battleships. Explosions echoed across the harbor. Smoke covered the sky. The United States had been caught completely by surprise. For Japan, it looked like the perfect victory, but in reality, it was the beginning of the empire's end. The very next day, America declared war. What Japan had hoped would force the United States to negotiate, instead awakened the world's greatest industrial power. American factories worked day and night. Thousands of aircraft rolled off production lines. Warships were launched faster than ever before. Every month, America grew stronger. Japan could not keep up. At first, Japanese forces conquered island after island. The Philippines, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaya, much of Southeast Asia, fell under Imperial Japan. It seemed the rising sun could never be stopped, but every new victory made the empire larger and harder to defend. Then, the tide turned. At the Battle of Midway, Japan lost. For aircraft carriers, its finest pilots never returned. It was a disaster from which the Imperial Navy would never fully recover. From that moment onward, America pushed forward, island by island, battle after battle. The Japanese Empire was no longer advancing. It was retreating. By 1945, Japan stood alone. Its navy was destroyed. Its cities were burning. Its people were exhausted. Yet, the government refused to surrender. Then, the world witnessed a weapon unlike anything it had ever seen. On August 6, 1945, an American bomber dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima. 3 days later, another bomb destroyed Nagasaki. In just moments, entire cities were reduced to ruins. Hundreds of thousands lost their lives. For the first time, humanity had entered the nuclear age, and Imperial Japan could fight no longer. August 15, 1945, Tokyo. For the first time in the long history of Japan, the people heard the voice of their emperor, not to celebrate victory, not to declare another battle, but to announce surrender. Across the country, millions listened in complete silence. Some couldn't believe it. Others simply cried. The empire they had been taught could never be defeated had fallen. The war was over. Within weeks, American forces entered Japan. Something extraordinary happened. Unlike many defeated empires, Japan was not erased from history. Instead, it was rebuilt. Its military empire was dissolved. Its constitution was rewritten. Its focus shifted from conquering nations to building industries. The factories that once produced fighter planes now produced cameras, cars, electronics, and technology that would change the world. Japan rose again, but this time, not through war, through innovation. Imperial Japan didn't collapse because its soldiers lacked courage. It didn't collapse because its people lacked discipline. It collapsed because its leaders believed expansion had no limits. Every victory created a new battlefield. Every conquest created a new enemy. Until one day, the empire found itself fighting against the entire world. No nation, no matter how powerful, can survive forever if ambition becomes greater than wisdom. Imperial Japan rose faster than almost anyone thought possible. It defeated great powers, built one of history's strongest militaries, and created an empire that stretched across Asia and the Pacific. But in the end, the same ambition that built the empire also destroyed it. History reminds us that true greatness is not measured by how much land an empire conquers, but by how long it can preserve peace, prosperity, and wisdom, because every empire, no matter how powerful, carries within it the seeds of its own destruction. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to Empyrean Vault, because the greatest stories in history are far from over.